So I'm here in downtown LA. I'm just gonna make a little YouTube channel trailer to tell you about why I'm pursuing photography, what it means to me. Like this video, please subscribe to the channel. It means so much to me if you support this channel and this journey. I usually forget to ask till the end of the video, but right now I'm here, I'm on bended knee in downtown LA, and I'm asking you to support the channel, subscribe, click like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Thank you. In this video, I'm going to be talking about why I am inspired to pursue photography, and it's a personal story. And actually, the building I am in is a building that I haven't been to a lot. I probably haven't been here since the 1980s, but it is related to why I'm pursuing photography. So I just want to share with you my inspirations, and kind of the three things I've been reflecting on is I love to explore, I love to create, and I love to serve. So welcome to my YouTube channel, and thanks for joining me. All right, one of the things I love to do on my YouTube channel is start every video with this saying, you're beautiful, you're good, and if no one has told you that today, let me be the first one to tell you that. And I really do believe that we're all beautiful people and we're good people trying to do our best. And so I welcome you here and I thank you for joining me. This building is 1150 South Olive, and this is the building that my dad used to work in. He was a computer programmer. He worked here in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s till he retired, learned over 30 computer languages, and he ended his career actually teaching computer programming to new college graduates that Transfer America would hire, or I think it was then Occidental Life Insurance. But he spent 30 years in this building, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about why he has inspired me to pursue photography, even though he was a computer programmer. One of the first things that I want to share about my photography journey is I love to explore. And I just remember my dad, we would go on these Saturday drives. He loved to fix up vintage cars and sell them. And every Saturday morning he would kind of take this car out, the one he'd been working on, and he would take it for a test drive. And so it would be like early in the morning, so like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. before there's traffic, because he loved to kind of open up the car. I mean, these are classic cars like Mustangs. We had T-Birds and Lincoln Continentals and 57 Chevys. And he would take these cars out early and we'd go explore the city. And so that was what I really enjoyed, is being a part of the relationship with him and exploring the city. And that kind of set this this pattern, or this experience that I loved, is just seeing new things and seeing what things looked like when people weren't around. So exploring. Something I really like about photography is the ability to explore, being able to explore new perspectives, to look at things in a new way, and to be able to give that to other people, to be able to see something that hasn't been seen before. The camera is a way to make up new narratives and new realities. See something in a new way that captures people's imagination or their emotion. And so that's what I really love about photography, is the ability to explore. With exploring, I remember that image of drive around the city with my dad and just being a special time of discovering new things and being able to talk about them together. Or I went to work with my dad before, and I just remember the vending machines where you could get treats were on a different floor. And I actually remember these escalators and how cool it was the time I went with him to work, to be able to jump on these and go to a different floor and get some food. I'm sure it wasn't that nutritious out of the vending machine, but that's a cool memory I have of my dad. But the other part about exploring, the image that sticks with me, is I just remember going to, when I got my driver's license, so this would have been 1986, is I would sometimes, every once in a while, get the opportunity to drive my dad into LA to work. Now, during the 70s and the 80s, the early part of the 80s, he took public transportation from West Covina to LA, so it's like 20 miles. He rode the bus every day, get up at 4 in the morning, leave at like 4:30. Then in the 80s, we bought a car that he bought to commute with. So it's be good on gas mileage. It was a 1984 Honda Civic wagon. And so he bought that car and drove it in. But every once in a while, I remember, and I don't remember the reason, but he would say, hey, can you get up early and drive me into work? Maybe he was getting a ride with somebody carpooling on the way home or something like that. But he was going to ask me to drive into LA in that morning. And I just remember the freeway opening up and being able to see the skyline of LA, this epic city skyline. And I just remember that kind of hunger or thirst for something new, a new panorama, a new horizon, just being kind of lit on fire by that experience. And that was super cool. And so that's another image I remember from exploring, and something that stuck with me, and I think has fed that need to kind of explore what's around the corner, what else is there to see in life. So another reason I love photography is the ability to create. And so I have a memory of my dad. Every day he would come home, even though he worked as a computer programmer, he was a musician by training. He went to college, he had a bachelor's degree in music. When my parents were first married, he sang bass in the Houston Opera when they lived in Houston for a very short time before coming to LA. And so every day he would come home and he would play the piano and he would sing, and a lot of it was church music or Christian music or blues or gospel. And I just remember he had this huge voice. His voice would just kind of fill the house, and it was this amazing rich tone. He would play and he would practice, but every day he was singing with different intonation or emotion. And I just learned that you can create daily, moment by moment, beautiful art that inhabits your living space. And so he would play and practice the piano, and I just learned that you create art daily. That's part of who we are as people. That's part of what we fill our homes with and what we do with our time. And it's not necessarily your job, and you don't necessarily get paid full-time to do that, but you can bring art into the world, and it's magnificent and beautiful. And that's something that I have taken, and I try to practice art daily through photography. So that's part of why I love photography. All right, now this part is a real easy tie-in. And the third thing I love about photography is the ability to serve. A very clear connection with my dad and photography is he always had a camera with him when we had family events. My dad would wear these short sleeve white business shirts, would have this little lanyard hanging out of his pocket, and it was the wrist strap of a camera that he always had when we were gonna be around family. He always had it. He always had like this little Instamatic film camera, Instamatic camera right there with him. And he was just looking for moments to document and to record and to help us remember as a family. He never really talked about it, but it was an obvious passion of his. He was rarely in the pictures. He was always taking them. It wasn't so much posed moments, but just looking for moments where people were enjoying themselves. We'd get home from vacation or some event, and he would like take the rest of the pictures on the film, take it to a 1-hour photo lab and get it developed. And it was almost like an obsession of his. And so we have, as a family, all these photo albums filled with photos and photos and photos. It was just a given. He was gonna have a camera, there was gonna be film, he was gonna develop it, and we were gonna have those photos. It's a great memory, and it was a way that he served. And so that's part of who I am as a photographer. That's part of my joy with photography, is the ability to serve. I love to take images and record those to serve other people and to give to people. And so I'm really excited about that part of the journey as well. My journey with photography, yeah, I have the YouTube channel and I love to share and teach. And in fact, my dad was a teacher the last part of his career. He taught computer programming, so that's an interesting connection. But I started to reflect. I've been on the YouTube platform for a little bit, sharing photography tutorials. And my dad, his birthday's in November. He would have been 74 this year, and he passed away from colon cancer. And I just started to reflect about his impact on me, and to figure out why I am doing this, taking this journey with photography. And so, yeah, I think it's to explore. Oh, some lights went on there. Yeah, it's to explore, to create, and to serve. Those are reasons why I do photography. And so actually every November I grow a beard for No Shave November to raise awareness of men's health issues. And I just want to share this journey with you, and thank you for being a part of it. All right, and we're back. So just thinking about being in downtown LA, 1150 South Olive Street. It was the Transamerica building. It was the Occidental insurance company where my dad was a programmer. And then a Dutch company bought it, and there's been a few different incarnations over the years. And I guess now it's the USC building, and a lot of USC offices are up there. It's interesting, so much has changed inside the building, but it's funny, the driveways up here where you pull in to park, the time or two I took my dad to work, they're still the same. And so it's really cool, and just have been glad to be here. It's a beautiful place.